Hello, welcome once again to True Shadow. Today is our third episode. How you liked the previous story, I do not know, but your love has given me the courage to bring more true incidents before you. If you have any true life experiences, then please do let us know. You can send us that story via email or to our Facebook page. Our email and the Facebook page link are given in the video's description box. If you go there, you will very easily find us and you will be able to share your experiences or incidents with us. The true incident stories sent by you, we will publish on our True Shadow channel. Your story could be the terrifying mystery of the next episode. In human life, there come some moments where logic falls silent. Today's incidents are exactly like that. Inexplicable, unsettling, and wrapped in mystery. If there are any errors in narration, please view them with a forgiving eye. Your shivers are my true reward. So, without further delay, let us step inside today's unknown incidents. Today's first incident will take us to Louisiana's infamous swamp, which the locals call Atchafalaya Basin, where massive cypress trees like skeletons stand silently over the water. The indigenous people there believe that deep within that dense forest, there is something that awakens to the smell of human flesh. And such a horrifying experience was faced by an experienced deer hunter from Louisiana. He today has shared with us that bone-chilling tale of his. As Marcus has sent the incident, I will read it out exactly that way.
Thank you to True Shadow for giving me the opportunity to bring this story of mine to everyone. My name is Marcus. I am an experienced deer hunter from Louisiana, or a deer hunter. In our southern culture, going camping or hunting in the woods on weekends is a very common thing. But that October of last year changed all the definitions of my life. That day, I and my friend Jack decided we would go so deep into Louisiana's Atchafalaya Basin, where usually no tourist or local people go. The place is that notorious swamp or wetlands of Louisiana. Huge cypress trees stand there over the water like ghosts, and the gray moss hanging from the tree branches looks like some dead person's hair. Just before evening deepened after the afternoon, we reached a part of the forest that was not on our map. There, the sky seemed to be covered by dense green leaves. The environment around us suddenly became very eerie. Usually, the concert of frogs and insects that goes on in the swamp stopped in an instant. Jack held his rifle tightly and said in a low voice, "Marcus, something isn't right. The air is smelling like rotten meat." Just then, we saw an ancient abandoned wooden cabin behind the bushes. That old cabin from the era of the American Civil War has sunk halfway underground. The window glasses of the cabin are broken, and an old rusty chain is hanging in front of the door. In this deep forest of Louisiana, why someone would build a house in such a secluded place was not coming to our heads. We decided to spend tonight in that cabin because torrential rain was about to start outside then. But as soon as we stepped inside the cabin, we saw a strange thing. A huge wooden table kept on the floor of the room, and on that table are arranged absolutely fresh food, as if someone was just preparing to sit down to eat. But the room is full of dust and spider webs. There are no human footprints, but from the food still, smoke is coming out. My GPS had stopped working. The phone signal was also zero. When Jack shone the torch toward the back of the cabin, he screamed in fear. Sitting on an old wooden box kept in the corner of the floor was someone. No, he wasn't sitting. He was as if just hanging over the floor. The lower half of his body was completely gone. Only the upper part from the waist was lying there. But the most terrifying thing was that half body was still moving and was looking at us. In that dark cabin of Louisiana, we realized we have come face to face with something that is impossible to even come into any human's imagination.
When our torchlight fell upon that half body kept in that corner, my heartbeat, as if for a moment, stopped. In this deep swamp of Louisiana, we had come prepared to see many things: alligators, poisonous snakes, even wild bears. But this scene was outside all rules of nature. From below the waist of that figure, there was nothing, as if someone had very perfectly cut and separated his body into two parts. But the strange thing was, no blood was dripping from there. Instead, a black-colored, a kind of sticky liquid was rolling onto the floor from the cut part. His skin was ash-colored and looked tough, much like an old leather jacket. While backing away in fear, Jack bumped into an old chair. As soon as that sound occurred, that half-man turned his head toward us. His face was like a human's, but the eyes were completely white, no pupils. He placed his long, bony hands on the floor. We thought he might not be able to move, but proving us wrong, leaning on his hands, he began to move toward us with unnaturally high speed. His movement was like some spider or a reptile. A kind of grinding sound was coming from the friction of his hands on the wooden floor, hearing which the hair on my arms stood up. Jack screamed, "Marcus, run! That's not a human!" But before we could run toward the door, that entity stopped in the middle of the room and opened its mouth wide. Its jaw went down quite a bit, just like some snake, and from there an inhuman scream came out. That sound was not like any human scream. It was a strange mixture of the crying melody of thousands of people and the roar of some wild animal. At the intensity of that scream, the broken window glasses of the cabin began to rattle and shake. In this age of modern technology in America, the expensive iPhone kept in my pocket suddenly became hot, and from its speaker, a kind of distorted, static sound began to come out, as if the presence of that entity was disabling all our electronic devices. Jack picked up his rifle, but his hands were shaking so much that he could not fix his aim. At that very moment, more of that black liquid began to fall on us from the roof of the cabin. I looked upward and saw on the beams of the roof several more such half-bodies are hanging, who all silently are looking at us. That abandoned cabin of Louisiana was actually not a house. It was a hell pit where these distorted entities were waiting for prey. When that black liquid fell on my shoulder from the roof beams, then I realized our time was up. Those half-bodies, one by one, started coming down. They cannot walk like humans, but the speed and agility of their hands would beat even Olympic athletes. "Jack, we have to get out right now!" I screamed. We ran toward that rusty door of the cabin. Behind us, I could hear that bone-chilling, grinding sound and the noise of those distorted bodies. Friction on the dry wood. As soon as Jack reached the door, he took out a bottle of beer from his pocket, smashed it forcefully on the floor, and lit a fire with his lighter. The presence of mind and courage of the people of Southern America perhaps saved us that day. As soon as they saw the flames of the fire, those entities backed away with a horrific scream. It seemed these evil forces cannot tolerate the intensity of fire. In that rain, we started running through the mud of the swamp. We didn't have the courage to look back. Behind us, those inhuman screams were still floating, which had turned that silent night of Louisiana into hell. We ran continuously for about 2 miles and reached our old Ford truck. As I started the engine, I noticed the mark of that black sticky liquid on the rear bumper of the truck. That means they had chased us right up to the truck. The whole way back home, we didn't say a single word. When the light of dawn fell on the streets of New Orleans, then we felt ourselves a bit safe. But the horror did not end there. A few days later, when I went to upload the photos of that trip to my laptop, I saw that not a single photo had been taken. In every photo, only smoke and shapes like mist are visible. The most mysterious thing is, a week later, Jack called me and informed that black liquid on the back of his truck is not any ordinary lubricant or mud. He had tested it in a local lab. The lab technician had informed in surprise, the DNA of this liquid matches with humans, but it belongs to such a human who has no bone or flesh, only a strange evolution of cells. Even today, thinking of that Atchafalaya swamp of Louisiana makes my body go cold. We went again tracking the GPS to find that cabin, but there was nothing there except vast swamp and broken trees. The cabin has as if vanished like a magic trick. Deep inside this vast territory of America, many such things are hidden which are beyond the concepts of our science. I am Marcus. Even today, before sleeping at night, I look toward the roof of my room once. I stay in fear if I see that white-eyed half-man hanging there, looking at me, smiling.
Don't forget to let us know how you liked the incident. The comments section is always open for you. We are ending our 3rd episode here for today. To not miss our next thrilling stories, subscribe to True Shadow right now. Thank you everyone for being with us for so long. Stay tuned, stay safe.